Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Aussie Starcraft. We are currently casting WCS Season 2 from Korea. We are up to the round of 4, and of course in an earlier series that we cast on the channel, we did in fact see INnoVation beat Soulkey to knock him out of the running and progress to the round of 4. So here's the blue Terran in the bottom right hand corner of Newkirk Precinct, and in the bottom left hand corner we have Maru, who is playing as our yellow Terran. So we have indeed got a TvT matchup this evening, and we will see what these players have in store for us. Of course, we earlier discussed the virtues of this map for Terran. It is an excellent map, great area to drop and harass with various Terran technique. So it's always fun to watch a mirror matchup and see how these players sort of exploit the various strengths and weaknesses of their race. Will we see them go for identical builds, or will we see some variation between the two play styles? Straight out of the gate it looks like we will indeed have some variation. Maru dropping his refinery. Will that be for some Reapers, or will it just be for a factory or add-on for the barracks? INnoVation moving out to scout now. Always key in a mirror matchup to find out what your opponent's up to. First barracks is on the way for Maru. Refinery now on the way as well. A little bit earlier for Maru. He will have some gas already in the bank when this barracks finishes. INnoVation's barracks likewise almost finished. So how do you guys feel about mirror matchups? I tend to have differing opinions. I hate playing them, love watching them. I know that may sound like a little bit of a contradiction, but I find I've played Starcraft quite a lot as both Zerg and Protoss, and both of those races I find their mirror matchup to be extremely difficult. PvP can hinge on a single decision, and well, let's just say I'm not a professional Starcraft player, so I tend to lose a lot of my mirror matchups. And likewise when I play as Zerg, which is my favourite off race, I tend to likewise struggle in the early Zergling Baneling phase of the game. If I can make it to mid-game in my mirror matchups, my win rate increases dramatically, but the opening decision-making process of mirror matchups I find to be very difficult. But while I find it difficult as a player, I love both casting and watching mirror matchups, as I find it just such a dynamic game. The game does hinge on a single decision. I find it fascinating to see how these pros adapt to each of those decisions. Alright, we have a few Marines down here. Going the expansion, though we don't have any command center on the way from Maru as of yet. He is ahead on his tech though. His factory almost finished with the tech lab, starport as well coming up. Whereas because INnoVation's gone for this early command center on the low ground, he is behind his factory only now, getting close to finish up. Ooh, Tech Lab swapped out with a starport. Okay, I thought we may have been seeing some tank play, but we might well see, and indeed a Banshee is on the way. So, how will this play? Will INnoVation be prepared for this? He won't have any scout, as the ramp is in fact blocked off with Marines. And he has no energy to scan, so what will he do? Will he spot this Banshee in time? All his Marines are moving up into a position to protect his mineral line. Has he spotted that? There's no way he's spotted that. He hasn't scouted that. He has no idea that the starport is in fact in play, but yet his spider sense must be tingling. He's pulled his Marines back to guard his mineral line and putting up a starport of his own. And a Viking on the way. This is perfectly going to counter these Banshees that are moving out. Cloak not yet finished. It's all either he's picked this up from watching earlier games of Maru, or just incredibly good game sense in TvT. INnoVation is almost, the Banshee's almost on his base. He's going to come face to face with his Marines and be forced to move back. See if he can kite. Oh, Viking now in play. This Banshee's got to make a break for it. How's that upgrade going? If we see the production tab. No, upgrades tab. Cloak is on the way. Oh, just finished. Now he can cloak and move into the base, and indeed he does. Snipes that SCV that's building the missile turret. That will buy him some time to get these kills. 3 kills. Can he get a 4th? Oh, no energy for scan. The missile turret's now finished. The Viking will be able to scout this if he gets any closer. Oh, finds a nice angle, picks off a 5th SCV. Missile turret already up at the 5th. Oh, and a scan to wipe out the Banshee. This Banshee likely to have to pull back. 2 missile turrets is just going to be too much. The coverage is great for these missile turrets, and it will shut down this early Banshee harass, but Widowmine has picked up a kill, and Maru seems to be going for some sort of odd Widowmine Banshee container. Oh, 2 siege tanks. He has built a tech lab on that factory, and he may well contain INnoVation right here, right now. This Banshee continuing to be a pain, up to 7 kills. Can he take out this tech lab? Or it's going to force another scan from INnoVation to have to kill it. This cloak is well paying for itself. The fact that INnoVation's having to scan over and over to kill these Banshees, it's just a bit too close to the missile turret. These siege tanks rolling off the line. Oh, Banshee has to cloak again. Oh, big pickup with the Widowmine, killing 4 of those SCVs. And Maru just pushes straight in, not even sieging up with these tanks, just in straight pom-pom mode, moving straight out for this natural expansion. A Banshee of his own for INnoVation, kiting back and forth as best he can. This Widowmine about to get off recharge and kill these Vikings. Siege tanks. Oh, INnoVation GG's out of the game. What an excellent game out of Maru, and what an exciting start to this game, to this series. Just fantastic play from Maru. Now, if you're wondering why I semi-pause when I say Maru's name, it's because it's difficult for me to actually make that sound. I'm used to speaking Japanese, and I know Maru is Korean, so it's pronounced differently. But in Japanese, if Maru was in fact Japanese, it'd be pronounced Maru, and to see a word that sounds the same but is pronounced differently is actually quite difficult for me to try and pronounce it properly. So if I'm pausing every time I say Maru's name, that's why. I hear myself say it and I think, oh gee, that's an ugly Japanese accent, and indeed it is, because I'm not speaking Japanese, I'm pronouncing a Korean player's name. So anyway, excellent game out of Maru, and we'll see if he can keep that up in game number 2, or if INnoVation will manage to level this series out. So we'll see you in game number 2 in just a minute.